Good morning, good morning. Happy Thursday, everybody. Let's do this thing. We got an upper body workout today, focusing on our back and our shoulder muscles, as well as our core and abs. For equipment today, first off, I'm not wearing shoes because I don't feel like it. If you want to wear them, you can, but we are not going to be doing any high impact jumping stuff, so that's probably good news. Second thing, a chair. We are going to be doing some rows with the support of our knee, as well as some dips off of there. So if you have a bench, a chair, something like that, and of course, I have options. I do not require this if you guys don't have it. In addition to that, I will be using this long band for our warm-up, and my dumbbells, 8-pounders, and then my 2 loop bands for the actual strength exercises. So let's get you guys started with starting with these pass-throughs. So we'll go over and back 10 times total, 5 times there and back. Trying to keep the arms as straight as possible. If you guys do not have a long band like this, we just stick the arms out, palms down in front of us here, and then as we open up, we try to open up the palms behind us, just as we would do with that band. So we'll go through 10 of those. Again, 5 there and back with this band. Should not be painful, should be quite comfortable to get back there. If it is, you can always try to widen up your hands. Next one, we're keeping this band in our hands, but we're going to narrow up our hands. So I'm holding it a little wider than my shoulders. Again, if you do not have a band, you're simply following along with your hands here without a band. We're going to push all the way up and over our head, bring that band behind our head onto the back of our shoulders, and then push all the way up, back to that reset position, and that's 1, and we're going to do that 5 times. So we go behind the head, trying to move the arms and make the shoulders move that band out of the way, rather than poke our head out of the way. So try to keep your neck as still as possible, and we will go through 5 times, there and back equals 1. 5 of them, there you go. So again, no pain. You can always try widening up your hands if you're feeling a little bit tight. Okay, so we got 2 more to do with the same band in our hands. Next one is our pull-aparts. So you're in the right position for these. We're just going to extend our arms out in front of us and then pull that band apart, stopping right before we hit our chest and right before the band wants to go loose. Those of you who do not have band, you're going to get bent over position, thumbs up, opening up your arms, squeezing your shoulder blades together. And we'll go through 10 of those total. Okay, so 10 reps total. Once we are done 10, the last one is for the triceps. So this one is maybe a new one for some of us. It is a little different than our band pull-aparts. We're going to keep our arms elevated and just push our arms out to the sides, moving just through the elbow. And so we'll go through 10 reps like this. Again, those of you who are non-banded, we're just going to stick our arms out and do the same kind of extension with our elbow here, trying to feel the back of the arm. So we'll go through 10. Whew, and then you guys can put that band down, and we are going to swing out the arms over and under, 20 total, 10 each way, loosening up all of that stuff that we just did. So we'll go through these arm swings, trying to reach the arms away from the body, swinging over and then under. There is 20 of them, and we should be starting to burn in our shoulders. That's the goal of this one. So once you guys are done 20, we're going to keep those arms out to the sides. Ooh. Okay, and then we're going through these little swimmers. So don't worry about counting these ones. You can just simply follow along with me here. Left my phone volume on. Whoops. And so we'll go through up and down, trying to, again, get that lactic acid or that burning sensation brewing in your shoulders, which is probably already happening. We're going to flip the hands now this way and do the same thing forward and backward, just to reinforce that burn. You know what I'm saying? So we'll go through about 10 more seconds of this one, trying to breathe through that, breathe into it. It should be the kind of burn that you can work through. And then we'll relax our arms down by our sides and whoo, fire. Roll out our shoulders a couple times backwards. Breathing nice and slow, a couple times forwards. So we'll go about 2 circles in each direction. And then you can just relax your arms, relax your shoulders. The next one is all about warming up your rotator cuffs. So that's something that you have probably heard me talk about before. If not, you've heard other people talk about before. They're a very small group of muscles in here, lots of different ones, and they're very prone to injury. So that's why we're going to take some time to warm them up here in this little complex. So we want 90 degrees at the elbows like this. We're going to open up through just this external rotation. So I don't want to be moving the top part of my arm, I'm trying to move through my shoulder to open up the arm. The goal eventually is to get those hands in line with the body. You guys can see that's not quite happening for me. A little bit tight here. I haven't really done too much. Maybe as I go through my reps, I might be able to exhale and see if I can get my hands and arms a little bit more close to in line with my body. So we'll go through 10, and then we'll lift up into this position now, doing our internal rotation. And so similar, but a little bit different. We're trying to rotate inward, keeping the same part of the arm in that static position. It's not moving. We're just trying to move up and down, and you'll feel the movement through your shoulder. This one, trying to push that range of motion down a little bit, seeing if we can get those hands below the elbow slightly, but not forcing anything, just working with whatever we got for 10. And you can do a little shoulder check and make sure that your elbows are not sinking and falling down. Once you guys are done that, we are going to relax the arms and turn that into a little sequence through 5 total. So we'll go up, out, lift, and then back through that one. So follow along with me here, a little coordination 101. We'll open up here, lift up into this 90 degrees, close, back open here, and then reset. That's 1. We'll go through 5 of those total. Again, trying to really work that range of motion, seeing if we can get the hands a little bit more in line with the body. Maybe get them a little lower than the elbows. Well, you guys probably can't see yourself. It's okay. You can just feel. So we'll go through 5, and then you should be warming up. We're going to get you guys started on our first 2 exercises that we are going to do in a superset, back to back with little to no rest in between. So the first one is going to be a variation of a pull down or pull up. Now, most of us probably don't have anything to do a pull-up on unless you have a TRX. And if you are somebody who is wanting to, really challenge yourself in this workout today, then I highly suggest you set up that TRX if you have it available to be at about shoulder height and use it to do our TRX pull-ups. So these are ones that I have yet to really show you guys because I don't have that TRX set up, but I love this one and I love explaining it because it's a great option, especially for those of you who are wanting to get stronger in that pull-up motion, which is hopefully all of us, because it's a really good thing to get stronger at. So for those of you who do not have that, you don't have anything to, TRX, we're using the legs for assistance, pulling ourselves up. We're going to be laying down on our tummy, doing that Superman with the pull-in. So I'm going to be using my band, holding it sideways like this. Whatever version you're doing, we're doing 15 reps of it, okay? So let's get down here. Again, if you're using that TRX, you stay up there, and we'll do our first set. Those of you who do not have bands, you can just hold your hands here and just pull in and try to pull your shoulder blades down and back. And in this one, if you are joining me on the floor, it's very important that your legs, your hips, your feet, everything in the lower body stays down on the floor, because as soon as it lifts, we're going to start to get that low back working, which we don't want. We want to focus this one on the upper back, those lat muscles, the ones that run down the sides of your back. We'll go through 15 of them, okay? So there's lots of ways that we can do this pull down motion. Again, I want to emphasize that TRX one. If you are doing it, you have your hands here, and then we're almost sitting down into a squat, and then kind of not using our legs to pull ourselves up. And the less legs you use, the harder it's going to be on your upper body, and vice versa. So 15 total, you guys, and then we are going into a shoulder press with this one. We're doing 2 hands at a time. I'm going to be using my dumbbells as well as my band. So those of you who don't have bands, you're just going to hold the dumbbells. Those of you who do not have dumbbells, you're just going to hold the band. I'm going to use both because I want to really challenge myself in this press today. So I'm going to take this band and put it around my wrist like this, kind of where a watch would go. And then I'll grab both of my dumbbells, lift them up into this neutral position. So I want my elbows just slightly pushed out like this. And then I will press up over my head, going through the shoulder press. And I'm going to kneel just so you guys can see what's happening at the top, because I'm pressing and I'm not allowing those hands to come in. I'm kind of keeping them apart. And so we'll go through 15 is the number to be on these 2 exercises. And 15 reps total, which is going to be very hard with this. And then we are going to get back and go into our Supermans, okay? So I'm just kneeling here so you guys can see the top of that rep. It's very important that our hands don't come together with the dumbbells, with the band, whatever you're using. And we want a nice strong core that helps to squeeze your butt to get that core nice and strong. So we'll go through 15 burning reps, and then you guys are doing it again. Okay, so we're going to go through 3 more rounds of this. Like I said at the beginning, back to back, little to no rest in between. If you need to take any, take it right now. Grab a quick sip of water, walk it off, okay? Try to keep it under 30 seconds so that we can get going on to our second set. If you're feeling ready, then you can start it up, going on to our second round. Back into our Supermans. So the important thing here is that we're working our back muscles, all right? These guys, again, that run down sides of our back. So the Superman pull-in is kind of like because it is an awesome exercise to target that back. Ways we've done it before, I've anchored my band in front of me, and I've held the band and pulled it in, rather than holding it sideways. So that's actually more ideal, because that's going to give me the direct resistance pulling in this way, which works this muscle more directly than if I have the sideways resistance. We're still going to feel it with that, which is why I recommend doing it. But you're going to get more for that actual muscle if you can attach that band and pull in against it. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, I'm not always the most equipped in my setups to show you all these options, but I know you guys are, okay? I know some of you even have like almost full-on home gyms. So these options always come out to play. And sometimes it's just maybe you just don't understand why we're doing one option over the other. And so if you're feeling that you have the setup, that you have 2 more sets, you want to anchor your band up, okay? So we're going right into that shoulder press. Now, those of you who are working with bands, it's important that we have our forearms never coming like this. We don't want our elbows flared out, because as soon as we do that, we're kind of taking off that work on the shoulders, and we're putting it all over the place. So it's not actually giving our shoulders the same work. We want parallel forearms, if not a little bit of an angle in this way. And I know it's going to feel harder like that, but you're going to get more for those shoulders. So let's do it. All right, so third set. Let's go. Get down there and let's do it up. Okay, so set number 3, guys. We'll get going into it right away. So good for time. You guys have about 4 minutes to finish this up. There we go. Okay, so 15 reps. Now, because we're doing pretty high reps, 15 is high reps, you probably feel this quite a bit, especially those last 5 reps. Those are probably like, whew, they are burning. And if you're not feeling that way, if you finish your 15 and you're like, probably do 5 more, I'll probably do 10 more, that's a problem, okay? We want to make that 15 really challenging so that you feel them, okay? You don't want to do more than 15, okay? Your muscles are tired. And so pausing, slowing down, 2 things that you can do to feel it more. Also, simply just thinking about it more, okay? But you guys have lots of time. We have 1 more round, and we have like about 4 minutes, just under 4 minutes to get through this one that you're doing and the next one, which is plenty of time for you to take your time, okay? So pull-ins, we'll spend that time in the in part when we're holding in, when we're getting that nice squeeze on our back, pushing our elbows down into the floor. Shoulder presses, if you want to make those ones harder, we'll spend that time at the top. You can push up and hold there for a second. It feels a little wobbly, a little unstable, so you get that little stability work. You can also slow the return phase down. So we can push up. We don't have to spend any time at the top, but we can slow the way down. And just another very simple way to feel those more, because you should be feeling them. All right, so we have 1 more round. Let's get it. The last set. Let's do it. Okay, so strong finish, you guys. Supermans. Feeling the most on this set. I said there briefly, it's very important that we are pushing our elbows down into the floor. That also applies if you're doing a pull-up, any kind of pull down. We want those elbows tucked in front of us like so, not behind us like this, which puts our shoulder in kind of this weird forward position. And that could be happening too when you're doing your Superman. So by pushing your elbows down, it's going to be a lot easier for you to engage that muscle. Try it. You'll feel it. Last set. Good job, you guys. Okay, let's eat. So final round of these two before we move on to the next two. Okay, so we're going through, the rows, or the pull-ins rather, rows, pull-downs, and then we have this press. Final set, you guys. So we'll finish up as strong as we can. Trying to breathe through these reps. Again, get a nice, strong connection with our core so that we're not arching our back. Okay, so it helps if you either squeeze your legs, squeeze your butt. It's going to help you activate that core, and you'll feel it by the end of the set. Think about it the whole time. So we'll try to get that going on here in our final set, because this is it for this part. We're going to move on to part 2 of 3 of our strength. Just coming up next, which needs all this stuff, okay, including that chair now. So as you guys are coming to an end, keep going, take your time. Okay, you have lots of it. But as you finish up, we are going to set up for the next part here, which is going to need your bench, your chair, your something to use for support for your knee. All right, you guys, nice work. Okay, so if you want to grab a quick sip of water, hopefully you're feeling good, feeling warm, a little bit worked in that upper body. We're going to move on to part 2 here, which is going to start off with a one-arm wide grip row. So I'm going to be using my dumbbells and the support of this chair, my knee in my hand. I'm actually going to turn myself sideways like this to do this exercise. So both of these dumbbells I will be using. If you don't have dumbbells, we will take a band and anchor it around opposite foot, or sorry, same side foot. If you are using TRX, you can use that guide. We're going to pull in just a wider grip fashion. So if you've done one-arm TRX rows before, you probably want to stand a little bit more upright than last time because of the wide grip. It's going to be a little bit harder than that more neutral grip. So what we're going to do here, knee, hand on the chair. If you do not have a chair, we want something to support the core. Okay, so you can do the similar one we did on Tuesday, where we had that hand supporting on the opposite thigh here, but this is ideal. I'm going to take both of my dumbbells, hold them in one hand, and then pull in and out slightly wide. And I'm going to turn just so you guys can see what's happening here. So I want to be in that A position, that like push-up position, where I send my elbows here, kind of like this. Okay, so I'm not up here 90 degrees. Nope. I'm not in here in this neutral grip. I'm right in the middle, which is going to help me target more of my rear delts, the back of the shoulder, which is not as strong as a muscle as like your big lats, your back muscles. So we're going through 10 per side. Should have started with that. Sorry about that. We'll go through 10 reps on one side and then 10 reps on the other side. And then we are going to pair this with something which is for your shoulders. But we'll start this one and finish this one first. So again, band can be anchored around your foot, underneath that foot, and you can always do the band and the dumbbells together, like we've been talking about, if you want to really challenge this row. All right, pauses, slowing down are also 2 things that you can do because you only have 10 reps per set. And again, we want to make those 10 feel pretty challenging. But you will be back here, don't you worry. So with this one, we are going to be going through our lateral raises. You guys have 15 reps total of these ones. Now, for some of us, like me, for example, I have these 8-pound dumbbells. 15 reps of these laterals with these 8 pounds, that's going to be pretty hard, okay? I don't need to do anything else except probably just this, and maybe just go nice and slow and controlled, and I'll count out my 15, and I will be worked and good, all right? If you have light dumbbells, you probably need to do a little something, something to make this a little bit harder. You could do our T-hold raise, where we hold at the top, and then one comes down like this, and you can count out your 15 reps like so. Okay, if you're kind of stuck with heavier dumbbells, we can do bent arms and lift up. Dumbbells are closer to the body, which makes them easier than when they're further away from the body. So we got less options. Those of you who are working with bands, ideally we want a long band for this one. And then we want to lift up into this lateral raise. So if you don't have a long band, you can always take 2 of your loop bands and put them and make them into one. For the shoulders. All right, so we're doing it again. You guys already knew that. Same idea here, little to no rest in between. So we'll try to go right back into our second set of those wide grip 1-arm rows, where you guys are doing 10 per side. They don't accidentally do 50. I know there's been a lot of 15s. So we'll go into our second set here, trying to do a nice strong set. Then we have that knee, foot down, core tight. We'll push our hips back to create that nice flat back. And then we'll go through our set where we pull in a little bit wider than we normally go. And when we pull in, we don't want to leave the shoulder behind. We want that shoulder to be pulled behind our ear to get that 90 degrees at the elbow. Because if we leave the shoulder behind, we do the chicken wing, and we do not want this. Okay? Working our back at all. So let's make it work our back by pulling that shoulder back and actually using those guys for 10 reps each. Okay, and again, you'll feel this a bit more through the back of the shoulder as well. The whole back. All right, second round. So we'll go right up into those lateral raises. So options for those of you who have no bands, no dumbbells. I always like to kind of throw these in once in a while. I've done a towel lateral raise before. Very effective, very challenging. Much harder than it looks. Looks like this. We hold the towel down here, and then I lift up one side while I resist with the opposite arm, doing that sort of tricep movement here. So if you do not have dumbbells, if you don't have a band that you can use for this, that is a great way to do this one, to give you the direct shoulder work without equipment. So I'm going to just count out 15, although I know they're uneven, but that's okay. If you really need to do 16 for like your head, that's fine. For your OCD. Okay, so third set, we got one more after this. One more. Maybe 2 more, depending on how quickly you guys are moving through this. So we'll work through, again, those lateral raises, trying not to use any momentum through our body, through our legs. If you're finding you have to kind of like lean into it and squat into it, rather than that, try bending the arms a little bit. And so that way you can keep everything nice and still and go through that one. Okay. So approaching our third set. Let's do it. Good job, you guys. All right, hold up back. So get that wide grip row going. Okay. Ten and 10. Woo. All right. So we'll get you guys going on set number 3, finishing up strong. Okay, so as you guys approach your final set here, we really want to make sure that we are challenging ourselves on these. So again, if you need to kind of slow her down a little bit, take a little bit more time at the hardest part of each rep. Lateral raises, that's at the top. Okay, so if you need to make these a bit harder, I know it's already 15, but you can hold it up there for a second. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to do the whole on T-hold. That one can be really hard, but just a little pause there will crank it up that notch that you just might need or want. Or maybe you don't want, but you need. right, final set. Nice job, you guys. So we have our last set here. Whoop, 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 whoop. Got the sun shining through here, and there's no blinds on that window, so I'm not mad about it though, because it's sunny outside. Okay, so last set. Yay! I'm gonna give you guys about 2 minutes to finish it up, which is just enough time to get going and finish one more set. All right, so last set of those rows, and we're trying to think about the back of our shoulders, pulling that shoulder, trying to get a really active upper back in each row. You almost want to like lead the way with the shoulder as you pull in. And that's what gets that nice 90-degree angle. Rather than leading with the elbow or leading with the hand or the wrist, you can think about really trying to pull back and squeeze that shoulder together. Ooh, final set. Yes, let's do it on the last set. Okay. So last chance on these ones. 10, 10, and 15. Taking us to last part of our strength coming up after this. You guys have 3 exercises and a little circuit. And working our core, not so bad. There you go. So again, final set. Really try to challenge it. Okay, take your time with it. I know I said you have 2 minutes, probably close to that, but I want you to finish up this set nice and strong. Okay, so don't worry about the time. Just do your thing as you guys are finishing up. And just rest. Grab yourself a little bit of water. We're going to move on to the next part, and you'll need all of your things. Still, the chair, potentially Trx if you want to use it. We will see. Oh, the shoulders. Good job, you guys. So we'll finish up with this last set of these lateral raises. We're breathing through them. Once you guys are done, you can grab yourself some water, shake it out, because it burns. And we're gonna move on to the final part, which is going to start right about now. So hopefully you guys are coming to an end, and well rested and recuperated and mentally prepared for the next part. If not, you can get ready while I explain it. So we're gonna start off with a tricep extension or tricep dip. I'm going to be doing our dips off of the chair here. Now, those of you who do not have chair, we got lots of options for you. First one being our wall tricep extension that we know, maybe not love, maybe you do love it. I love it. But this is a great option if you don't have the chair, okay? Other option would be grabbing our dumbbells, laying on our back, and doing a lying dumbbell tricep extension like this, which I'll talk about. But I'm gonna start off with our dips off of the chair. You guys are following 15 reps of these ones, okay? So we'll go back to the 15s, and we're going down to 90 degrees, pushing ourselves up, trying to keep our hips as close to the chair as possible. So we don't want to straight away, because that tends to put extra stress on the shoulders. We want to keep them close and then push up. Keeping in mind that straight legs is harder, bent legs is easier, and anywhere in between will make it a little harder, a little easier. So you can take tiny little steps to find that sweet spot where you are challenged, but still able to do 15, okay? And same rules apply up here on the wall. The further away my feet are, the lower down on the wall I am, the harder it's going to be. The higher my feet, the closer, higher my hands, the closer my feet, the easier it's going to be, okay? So we're working through 15 reps. Second exercise, you guys are going to grab onto your dumbbells. We have a little combo move. It is a narrow to wide grip row. So if you're not using dumbbells, you can use Trx, you can use band. What we're doing, bent over, I'm going to narrow and then wide, and I'm talking wide, okay? So narrow, and then we flare those elbows up into that 90-degree position. The narrow plus the wide equals 1. You guys are doing 10 total. So Trx, you'll just be upright here, again, pulling in once here, and then pulling in once here, prioritizing this wide one. That's gonna be the harder one, okay? So we'll go through 10 total. Again, both of those equals 1. Okay, so I guess it's technically 20 rows. All right, so this is our second of 3 movements. We got one more after this one. Okay, but let's do this one first. Get it in. And if you guys don't have dumbbells, you can use a band, hold it in your hands here, and pull in, and then pull wide, and go through your count. Same idea, whatever band you're using. Okay, okay, okay. Nice job, you guys. Okay, so we have one more that we are going to do. We got a little arm blast going on here because the last one is going to be a curl to press. So I'm going to be using my dumbbells, holding them down by my sides with my palms facing in like this, curling up, rotating so that my palms are facing here, and then I'm going to press and rotate. And again, I'm just going to kneel so you guys can see my hands here. So I go like this, and then I go like this. And rotating, palm faces the shoulder, and then pressing and palm faces away. So we're doing 10 of these total, where we're trying to curl that rotation. I'm like right in the light here, it's kind of blinding. So if you do not have dumbbells, you guys are going to go through either with a band in your hands, and I'm just gonna undo this guy here. Can I do that? Okay, so we can hold a band sideways like this, and then curl and press. And because I'm holding that band outward, I'm still getting that rotational work in my shoulders because of the way I'm holding the band. Don't have to worry about turning my hands. As with the dumbbells, I do have to turn my hands in order to get that same involvement in my shoulder. So we're going through 10 of these total. I know, a little bit of thinking with the turns and the twists. And so you guys are going through 2 more rounds of this only, okay? So we're going back into the triceps, 15 reps, again, little to no rest in between. And then we'll have that set of narrow to wide grip rows, 10 total. And then we have this curl to press. We're doing 3 rounds total of this. So you already did 1. Yay! We're doing 2 more to make it 3, which I know is a little bit of a change from our 4, but we have a lot of volume in here today. So we're just keeping it at 3 sets. Okay, so let's do it. Back to our first one, our triceps. So however you guys are doing it, we need it to be hard. All right, so again, if you're doing the dumbbell one down on the floor, we can hold our dumbbells like this and then bend them down to 90 and then push them up like so, and you can count out your 50. Okay. Good job, you guys. So moving on to our second one, our narrow to wide grip rows. So if you're doing the dumbbell version, the bent over version, always, anytime we're bending over and doing an exercise, it's very important that your setup is as strong as you can make it. So before you go anywhere, narrow your feet, soft knees, push your hips back so that you're in that position. Nice posture. I have another joiner in our workout here, this cat. And so we'll go through that and try to keep that there the entire time. And if we pull in our belly button, if we keep our posture as straight as we can, we're going to get that sneaky core work in there as well. And that also applies to TRXs. You just simply have to think about it a little bit in order to get it on the TRX, but it's there. Okay, so final one. And palm faces the leg. We curl, rotate so the palm faces the shoulder. And then we press and rotate so the palm faces away towards the screen. And then we go undone and undone, and we'll go through our 10 reps total. Now, because we don't have the most variety in terms of dumbbells, this might not be like the most challenging on some parts of this, but because we're doing a little combination move, the curl and the press, you should really start to kind of feel it creep up on you. That, in addition to the fact of the first 2 exercises that we did. Again, anytime you guys slow down, it's going to make it harder. If you want more work on those biceps, slow the way down. Don't just lower the dumbbells down. Take time putting them down, more time under tension, more work on those arms. Okay, so last set. Coming up, you guys have 4 minutes, which is plenty of time to do this final set here. So take your time with it. And then we are down on the floor till the end of the class. All right. So finishing off with our final set, back to the first one, the triceps. Good job, you guys. Ooh, for the upper body, for the arms. Okay. Rows, rows, rows. So final set of rows. This is it for today, for the week. Yeah. So let's try to really go out the bang, get the most out of these rows. I'm really trying to be as active as possible. We want as much action as possible in our upper back and our back muscles. Every time you guys pull in, we want a big squeeze on our back. Again, when we're doing that wide one, trying to get more of the shoulders here. So it's really important that you pull those shoulders in and together, both of them, so that you get that work for your last set. Yes. Okay, so take your time. We have 2 minutes until I'm going to press start on this timer to start our final part here. So you guys have that much time to stop, to rest, to grab water. See. Okay. All right, you guys, let's do it. So, timer. I'm so happy about the timer app. I found one that beeps for us, which is nice because I was having some technical difficulties with the other one. But anyways, take your time, you guys. Finish it up strong. Keep in mind that you are going to be hanging out on the floor with me until the end here. It's our last part. We're off of a timer. It's all about our abs and core. So we have a 16-minute circuit that we are going to go through. It is 4 exercises. Woohoo! And we don't have to leave the floor, but you guys will need equipment, okay? Specifically dumbbells and or bands. I do not need this chair. As a matter of fact, I'm going to move it out of the way. Maybe I'll use it to slightly block that sunlight. Okay. Nice job, you guys. I hope you're feeling so good. We are gonna move ourselves down to the floor, and I'm talking like to stay. So I'm gonna move us down for reals. There we go. All right, so you will need a band, you will need dumbbells, potentially. We are going to be working off of a timer. And my froze. There we go. Sorry about that. My screen like 100% froze. Okay, we're good. Okay, so I'm not sure where I cut off, but anyways, we are coming down here onto this sunshine-filled floor. You guys are going to be working off of this timer here for 60 seconds on, 20 seconds off. So we're going to be doing 4 different exercises, 3 sets total of these ones, okay? But 4 different movements. So I'm going to start off with the first one. We are going to do it for the full minute, and then I will explain the other 3 on that 20 seconds of rest that we have on the timer, okay? So let's get you guys started with our very first one here. Sorry about that. I'm just Okay, so first one, we have a dead bug. Woo, welcome. So we're doing a dead bug for 60 seconds. Now, today in this dead bug, you guys have the option to add some resistance into it by holding either dumbbells or bands in your hands like this. Other thing that we could do here is anchor a band behind us and pull it over so that we're getting the band kind of pulling our hands back behind us, which makes us work our core more. So whatever you're going to do, get yourself set up, okay, like this, and we're going to start our dead bug for 60 seconds, okay? You guys ready? And again, you do not have to use dumbbells. It's just an option. 3, 2, oops, sorry, hold on, please hold. I don't know why my rest and my work are switched, but that's not going to work very well for the beep now, is it? It's okay, you guys don't mind. You get a little extra. A little false hope. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and go. Here we go. Timer has started. So again, if you do not have dumbbells, completely fine, you guys. You don't need dumbbells. We want opposite arms and opposite legs lowering away from each other. And the most important thing is that our lower back is being squished and pushed into the floor. So if that's not happening, you can try doing this with bent legs, like so, rather than straightening them all the way out, because that back contact is the most important part. Okay, you guys are halfway there, so pace yourself. When in doubt, just hold this position and squish that back down. Maybe once in a while, you can throw in a leg lift, either the opposite arm, opposite leg. Okay, but whatever you do, try to keep that back down. 15 seconds left. Turn this bad boy up here. Okay, let's go. 3, 2, and time. Nice work, you guys. Okay. Whew. So we are going to get up and flip over into a bird dog position. So we're on our all fours, hands and knees, doing a alternating bird dog. So last day we did these for the aspect of balance. Today we're doing this for the aspect of core. So we want to bring our ribs and pelvis together. So we're doing a bit of a crunch right away. And then I'm going to lift up opposite arm, opposite leg, and alternate right side and left side. So I'm lifting right arm, left leg, and then I switch. Okay, and then I switch. So with this one, we're trying to really control this part. So don't leave until you're in control. Don't just go up there and leave. Hold it for a second until you feel uncomfortable. Okay, you should be feeling your core because you're kind of pulling it up slightly. You should be feeling your butt because of that same core feeling. And we are halfway there. You guys have 30 seconds left. Okay, so do pace yourself. This one can be much harder than it looks. There it is. So right side, left side. Now, for most of us, this is going to be pretty hard. Okay, but if there's any of you who want to make this harder, you could potentially hold dumbbells in your hands. It's going to give you much more work in your upper body and your shoulders, if that's something that you want. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nice job, you guys. Okay. So next one, we're going to bring out our bands. We're going to flip back over into this V position, starting off with walking our hips back. I'm going to take this band, and again, this is optional, and I'm going to put it around my feet like this, and then we're going to be working with pull-ins, like so, where I have my feet on the floor, and I'm just pulling in one at a time. Okay, so we're getting work directly on the front of the hips, and that part of our core in this one. So don't be surprised if you feel that work in your hips. If you want to make it harder, widen up your feet and keep them wider as you pull in. Okay, so don't pull in and allow it to come to the center. Pull in and try to kind of pull out to the side. If you want to make this harder, you can lift both feet up off the floor. Okay, but just a disclaimer, it's really hard. All right, you guys have 30 seconds left. The band is too challenging. You can always, again, do this without the band. And then just pull in those knees right and left. Okay, and then let's get it. Good work, you guys. 10 seconds left. Okay, remember you only have to do this 2 more times. 3 sets total. Not so bad. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, so last one. We are back on our back doing a reverse crunch. Now, we do not need any equipment for this one. So take the band off, put the dumbbells aside. We're just going to use our body, laying on our back, taking both our hands and kind of rocking our hips and putting our hands to support our tailbone, support our hips. We're going to lift up our legs and push our back into the floor, and then exhale and try to lift those hips up off the floor. So that is it. That's all I'm doing is trying to lift my hips off the floor. I'm not lowering my legs, okay? I could. It's going to make it harder if I lower the legs and then do this. Okay, if I keep them straight or even just bent, but that's not an important part. Okay, important part is you trying to get those hips off the floor and tap into those muscles in your lower abs to get those hips off the floor. Halfway. Okay, so when in doubt, just hold. Try to do a little exhale and lift. It doesn't have to be a big lift. You guys don't have to get your whole hips off the floor, especially if this one is really hard for you and kind of new to you. Then just ease into it today. You will get better at it. Okay, with practice with time, 10 seconds left though. And you get to do it 2 more times. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, you guys, nice work. So you don't have to go anywhere because your second set is going to start down here in 10 seconds, and it is a dead bug. So unless you have to grab your equipment, if you're wanting to use dumbbells, whatever it is, lift it up. We are starting in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So opposite arm and opposite leg. Very common thing in the dead bug is lacking coordination more than anything else, because it's really hard to control these two limbs, the hand and the foot here, the ones that are not supposed to be moving. They always want to move, and then we can end up doing this, which maybe looks like a dead bug, but it's not giving you any work in that coordination. So we'll try to really tighten those two limbs up and like literally watch them and make sure that they don't move. So you gotta think about that one a little bit. And it's kind of like a rhythm. You gotta like find it and then just like don't stop. Okay, find the rhythm, find the connection, and just work with it. 10 seconds left. There you go. Good job, you guys. 3, 2, 1, and nice. Okay, turn it over. Bird dogs, alternating ones. Okay, so questionably harder, easier than the ones where we do like all one side at a time. But again, the focus here is core. So when we're lifting up and we're switching sides and we go right side and then we switch and go left side, we're trying to avoid that tilting and that shifting that wants to happen in your body and your hips. You want to keep everything as still as possible. If you find these ones are kind of easy, we'll do the same thing we did on the balance ones where we walk our knees and our hands closer together. Okay, and see what happens. You're going to feel much more unstable. A little bit harder on the balance that we're getting way better at because we've been practicing every week. 30 seconds left. Do it up. Good job, guys. Okay, so breathe to close. 15 seconds. Nice work. All right, last couple. 3, 2, 1, and time. Okay, flip it over. We're gonna go into our pull-ins for the hips, for the hips, for the hips. All right, so I have the band around my feet. Do not need a strong band here. I'm using kind of a medium one. If I had a lighter one, I would use it, but I don't, so I'm using medium. We're kind of leaning back, and then again, we're pulling in one at a time. We're wanting to work the hips in this one, so you will feel work. Shouldn't be sharp or pinchy. It might feel kind of tight, a little crampy. That's okay, but if it's ever painful, you can maybe just take off the band. Excuse me, do it without the band. Or try something, do something to not have that sort of sharp, stabby pain. Because we never want that. Halfway, you guys. You got this. Even if you're just kind of leaning back with your feet, like grazing on the floor, they can still touch, but just don't put all your weight on them so that you're getting that work in your abs, your hips, in that lean back position. 15 seconds left. I know, that's hard, but you got this. The hips. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good job, you guys. Ooh. Okay, reverse crunches. We're gonna lay on our back. We have one more round after this. Woo! Look at us go. And then we are done. Okay, we're gonna stretch it out. A couple important stretches. We'll get this reverse crunch starting in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So lifting those hips up, not worrying about if your legs are straight or bent. It really does not matter. You can have them fully bent. Okay, you can have them fully straight. It might make it feel harder or easier depending on you and your body. I find the straight ones feel a lot more challenging than the bent ones, but it does not matter. Most important is that we're getting your hips, both the back of your hip bones, off the floor, at least trying to, and also trying to push that low back into the floor. It's important that we never have any like space under there Whenever we're working our core, it needs to be tight, needs to be down. Okay, so you should feel like as your hips drop down, you feel the back touch first before the back of your butt. 15 seconds. You can handle this. I know you can. We are so close to getting almost there. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good job. Okay, final set. This is it. The last round of these 3, of these 4, sorry. There are 4, so you circuit to 3. Okay, so starting back off with the dead bug, you're already probably in that position, laying on your back. Okay, you guys are starting in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Final set. All right, so again, optional if you want to hold dumbbells, hold the band in your hand, whatever it is. The last time you are here. Let's do it. I'm going to let you guys to push that back down. Every time you send your limbs out, exhale and squish that back. It's like one whole simultaneous thing. You send them out, you breathe out, and you're fighting the floor with your back every single rep. See if you can do that, okay? 20 more seconds. Even if you just do it for the last 20 seconds, if you were not doing that before, see how that makes you feel by the end of the set. You're probably going to feel way more in this one. I mean, if you weren't already. 10 seconds. Yeah. 3, 2, 1, and dead bugs are done. Nice job. So we'll flip over into our bird dogs. Potentially the easiest one out of the circuit. Slap right in the middle. All right, so hands and knees, you guys. Again, shoulders stacked over the wrists, hips over the knees. Starting in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Opposite arm and leg, reaching out. The bird dog is kind of like an opposite of the dead bug that we were just doing. It's kind of like in that upright position here. So same rules apply. We want those opposite arm, opposite legs to move. Although it's a lot easier on the coordination here. But same thing with the breathing. We're trying to exhale, extend the limbs, and really pull our belly button in and feel our core muscles working every rep. 30 seconds left. And that kind of stuff, like, we usually don't really think about. It's very easy to not and to just kind of go through the exercises, especially because I'm usually telling you guys like 10 other things to think about and do. 15 seconds left. But the breathing and that feeling inside, especially when we're doing this core work, really does make a big impact. 10 seconds. Three, 2, 1, and rest. Awesome work. Okay, on your back, on your butt rather, we're going to walk our hips back. Band up if you're using the band. Okay, this is it, the final set. Okay, so yes, I know a lot of work in the hips. We'll try to do it one more time with or without the band and go. Let's do it. And we're lean back, trying to pull one in at a time. The further back we lean, the less weight we put on our arms, on our feet, the harder. Okay, so you can even eventually do this kind of like hovering like this and then pulling in one at a time like this. Okay, and I think that is a little bit too much, but maybe we'll work our way up to that. Maybe 30 seconds, you guys are halfway through this one. Literally one exercise after this, and then we are done the workout for the day. Oh, we're gonna feel so good when we are done this, but keep going. 20 more seconds on this one. Let's get it. Good work, guys. 10 seconds. Okay, breathe. Give me a few more. 3, 2, 1, and oh, the hips. Nice work. Okay, reverse crunches, and then that is it. We are resting for the last time. So lay on your back, support your hips with both sides of your hands. Take a deep breath, you guys. Getting ready to start in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So we'll go through again with that nice exhale on the way up. See if you want to challenge yourself. Just keep the straight legs, makes it a little bit harder. Okay, get your hips up high. Again, exhale with those hips up, because that's going to help you get them up a little bit higher than if you do not exhale. But that breath is your power, and if you're not using it, especially on something so hard like this, then you won't get that same help. 30 seconds left though. And then we are done. Yes, we have a couple stretches that I'm going to leave you guys with, and then you are free to go. But 20 more seconds of this though. So let's try to get like 5 more in this last 15 seconds that we have left. Exhaling, sending those hips up. 10 seconds. Come on, you guys. Do not give up on us. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you are so very done. Nice job. Okay, so we are going to stretch. And after doing all that, we're going to start off with stretching our hips, because there was a lot of hip work in there. And I mean, I'm always talking about these hip flexors of yours and how important they are to stretch. Hence, we even stretched them out yesterday. Pretty much anytime we post-workout, we're involving these hips, we want to stretch them out to counteract the amount of work that we do in real life and what we just did in the workout. They tend to get very tight, and then they lead to a whole bunch of other stuff, including knee pain, lower back pain, which I know seems kind of weird because it's the hip in the front here, but as these guys get tight, you guys can hold your stretch there. They start to shorten, which puts us into that kind of pelvic tilted position. So if you know anyone, or maybe yourself, if you naturally kind of stand and sit like this, you probably have had lower back pain at one point in your life, because that's just kind of jacking up the vertebrae in the low back by having the pelvis tilted like that. So we need to stretch, we need to work our glutes, we need to work our core, and we need to stretch. It's kind of like a collective situation here to get everything more straight and to avoid that situation there. So that's why we're always doing this damn stretch, all right? So suck it up. It's here for a reason. We'll hold it here about 10 more seconds, and then we'll get you guys to switch sides. And so if that's something that you kind of resonate with, if you feel like that might be happening to you, or maybe you've actually like went to physio and they've told you that you have that pelvic tilt situation going on, this is going to be your number one. Okay, you should do this like every day. Make sure you're nice and warm first. Do lots of movement, get the joints moving, and then hold this stretch, as that will help prevent that tilted pelvis. So we'll stay here again 10 more seconds. Upper body was the focus today. So we are going to do a couple stretches for your guys' upper body, starting with your back, your upper back and lower back. So as we come out of this one, we can go down into this one here, sitting on our heels, kind of walking our fingertips away. If you have sensitive knees, you can put your arms up on like a chair or something. Then we're going to take one hand and put it on top of the other, and then turn and look underneath that side of the top hand. And then we'll hold this here, and you'll get a nice stretch through the back muscle on the opposite side. And we're going to hang out for about 30 seconds. And so you'll feel this, yes, in the back, low back, your hips, and we are breathing. Again, if it's uncomfortable anywhere, just make it comfortable. Maybe you need to ease off a little bit, whatever you got to do. So we'll stay here about 10 more seconds. Okay, we're getting one set in together so that you guys get one good one in. If you want to do more than one set after this or any other stretches, feel free to do that. So we'll switch sides, and we'll get that turned. Again, getting the nice stretch now focused on this side of the back. And we are holding. Okay, breathing into this one. So you guys can come out of that one. If you want to do a little bit of your cat-cow, okay, chest, shoulders, always a good one to stretch out. Okay, so we can stand up and go between a door frame, grab onto a wall, something to open up the front of your shoulders, your chest. And then anything else you guys you want to do, please feel free to do it. You are done with me. So thank you so much for another awesome workout, joining me live. Thank you, Dave, for coming out, hanging out with me in the Zoom room. You rock. And anyone who watched the replay, please drop a comment below so I know you were here. And hopefully you guys have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye. Bye, guys.